Greetings everyone, welcome aboard. Joseph James, SchoolOfTrade.com. Today was July 22nd, 2010. Here's your live trade room recap. Now guys, before we talk about the trades we took today, and we did have a pretty good day today, we broke our record today, 270 ticks. Shh, don't tell anybody. We're not supposed to be making all this money in the summertime, guys. Summertime trading, if it continues like this, we're going to have a huge fall. Guys, all we're doing is following our rules every day. 270 ticks today, guys. We'll talk about that in a second. On the blog, if you're on the blog right now, watching the video on the blog, don't forget the search box in the upper right-hand corner is perfect for a specific question about a specific topic. You want to know more about how we use the breaker pattern? Use that search box, right? Want to know how we use market profile, how we trade head and shoulders patterns? Use that search box, right? Search for specific terms there. Now, remember, we also have someone standing by 24/7 for our live support. Right below the live support button, you've got your YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, right? If you guys like using Facebook or YouTube, guys, the YouTube page has all kinds of videos you've never seen before. So they're not in the blog. Head to the YouTube page and check out some videos there. But right below the social media, most importantly here, guys, is your follow me button. You want to make sure you follow this blog. Guys, we post trade calls, live trade calls on the blog every day. We posted 3 winners yesterday, 2 winners today. Guys, we've been on fire for our posted trade calls, so you want to make sure you guys follow the blog. That way, every time we post a new trade call, a new article, a new video, you'll be the first to know about it. Now, if you can't follow the blog, right, sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter will at least make sure that you always get the most recent information, whichever goes out, whether it's posted on the blog, on our YouTube page, or any other important information that we send out to our clients. So make sure you guys are using the blog to its full potential here, guys. Lots of great info on the blog. We took 4 total trades. See that? Crude, gold, Russell, gold. Now, guys, we didn't really intend to only take 4 trades today, but we kind of spent most of our time making all the money on the first 2 trades. 270 ticks today, 2,700 USD. That brings our weekly total to 6183. Right? I thought our biggest day of the year was on Tuesday. Nope, not so fast. It was on Thursday, right? We just had the biggest day of the year on the 20th. And now here we are, the 22nd. We killed that biggest day by another 70 ticks. So 270 ticks, that brings our monthly total now to just shy of 20,000 for the month. And our 2010 totals here, just shy of 93,000. Now, as you guys know, my goal is 10,000 a month and 100,000 for the year on 4 lots. And guys, we are making a killing, right, above and beyond that goal. As you can see here, we're going to be well above our goal here for 2010. We doubled our goal for the month the past 2 months and hoping to do it once again here in the month of July. All right, now, what was the most important thing that happened today? Well, it was very slow at the open. We had 8:30 news, but the 8:30 news didn't really give us very much. Now, 8:30 Thursday morning, jobless claims, we expect to see some movement here. But I'll tell you guys, I wasn't very confident though. After seeing the 8:30 news this morning, we really didn't get much follow through with it. Okay, we got a little bit of movement, but after that, it went right back to sleep. Okay, so once we saw the market real slow at 8:30, as we always do, right, we didn't do anything out of the ordinary today, guys. And that's what makes us so successful. Sit down, follow your rules, go through your routine, and at the end of the day, we pick our head up and we're profitable. Right? We don't plan this stuff ahead of time, guys. Big days, small days, we just trade our patterns. So we didn't see much happening in the early session. So we began to look for some slower time frames, right? 13 range, 21 range, 30 minute, 60 minute. So we started looking for some broader patterns. Whenever we have a slow day, we know our scalps are probably not going to work as well. Lower volume, we're not going to see much follow through. So we look at the bigger picture. We identified some easy patterns, some breaker patterns, and some 2-step patterns on gold and crude. And then we began to, of course, watch and see what happened next. Well, at 8:50, 8:45, we got an important announcement. Now, I subscribe to a service called TradeTheNews.com. You can get a free trial of that on our homepage. If you go to SchoolOfTrade.com, in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see a link for TradeTheNews.com. They'll give you a free week trial. Okay, well, that's where I got this important information. Now, my news data, very important. That's what made me money here because I heard 8:45, we had a hurricane announcement. Now, a hurricane announcement, as you guys can imagine, might just have an effect on crude, right? We'll talk about that in a second. So we saw a hurricane announcement at 8:45, And then at 9 o'clock, we began to see our trades begin to trigger. The rest was history. Okay, so all we did this morning was we prepared for the day ahead by looking at the market. The market was going nowhere. So we moved from fast time frames to slow time frames. We got our trade patterns identified. We marked up our charts. And then the market began to move, and the rest is history. Okay, now first, let's take a look at what happened here on the crude, right? What led up to this first trade of the morning here? Now to begin here, let's take a look in the lower right-hand corner first. All right, my lower right-hand corner, this is my slower time frame. And guys, this is what the market will look like when you open up your charts in the morning. Now, given obviously here we didn't have this much information, but what we did have at that time is we had overhead resistance in a wedge pattern, support below for a wedge to the bottom. Right? So here's the wedge, right? There's my wedge. So of course, inside of this wedge, right, we know to be very careful. But we treat a wedge pattern just like a sideways market. Buy the lows, sell the highs, right? Buy the lows, sell the highs. So inside of that wedge, I can still trade inside that wedge, but I want to make sure though that I'm aware of, right, my surroundings. Make sure I'm aware of where I am. Now, if you look right here, just above 77, that's actually where we ended up getting into our trade. And we ended up taking this trade all the way up through these trend lines and taking our final target all the way up here. Now, we're going to show you guys how we ended up doing that in a second. I'm going to show you guys how we actually managed this trade. But what I want you guys to see first here is that we woke up this morning and we saw we were at the bottom of this wedge pattern. So naturally, the first thing we think of is looking long, right? We buy the lows. So that was the first thing we were trying to find here. And we knew we had 77 even, right? 77 is a big round number. We had to be worried about that. So we had to get above 77. That was pretty much our goal here. Okay, we wanted to be buyers, but we wanted to get above 77. That way we didn't get chopped up below that big round number. Right, now follow me back to the upper right-hand corner now, upper left-hand corner, and now let's look at how this trade actually played out. Okay, so here we are now. This is on my 21 range chart. And my 21 range chart, similar to an 8-minute chart. All right, now I don't use minute charts. I use range charts. Okay, they're a little bit better for us as day traders. But 21 range chart, kind of like an 8-minute, a 10-minute chart. And of course, the first trade of the day here was a breaker pattern long. Now at this point, we had bounced off of, right, support down the bottom. So we had just bounced off support here. We have a short-term trend coming up. There's our swing high level right there, and I'm going to break above that swing high for my breaker pattern long. All right, guys, it's a very easy pattern. We talked about it in great detail today in our live trade room as part of the webinar, but it's called the breaker pattern. Okay, so 77.11 was where I was trying to get in. I didn't get filled here until 77.16. We took my first target, as you can see here, guys, at 20. Now remember, guys, on a 21 range chart, my trade management is going to be different on every trade. So we took some time ahead of time. We defined targets at 20s, at 40s, and then the initial target was here at 90s. Okay, so we took, of course, the first target from 16 to 20. We got filled up 22 for plus 6. We took 2 off at 6, that's 12. We took our second target at 14 at 40s. And then we trailed our stop as we kept launching this thing to the upside for 52 more ticks, guys, for that runner. That's a plus 6, plus 14, plus 52. All right, now once again, remember, that first target at plus 6 will always be different. It's based upon overhead resistance, right? That's what it's based upon. Okay, so with 90 ticks total, or 900 USD, that was a $900 winner there. But guys, you know what? This could have easily been half that much. Let's take a look real quick, though, how we managed this trade. Now remember, my initial target was here at 90. But what happened is we realized that we had something a little bit lower around the 70s. Now, what was around the 70s? Around the 70s was going to be a swing high. It was a double top area. So we noticed that we had some resistance at 70s, and we began to decide how we were going to manage this trade. Now, in this slide, here's actually a live snapshot of what it looked like while we were in this trade. All right, guys, hindsight's 2020. I'd like to make sure that we can see live, real-time examples here. If you couldn't join us in the trade room this morning, at least here now, you're able to see where we are.